Chase. Whether Carly Gregg will spend the rest of her life in prison without the possibility of parole, or whether she will have a chance at seeing freedom again, is now up to the state Supreme Court, who heard arguments Wednesday from Gregg's defense team that it's illegal to sentence a juvenile to life with no parole. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
Doctor, the AC doctor, what's your diagnosis? My whole house was hot as a fever. Now my house frozen, cause my air conditioning's on. Doctor, my AC's broken. Doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
The AC Doctors is your one-stop provider for air conditioning and heating installation, service, and repair. Contact us for money-saving repairs and lower energy bills.
Doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
Google the AC Doctors and get some relief today. TheACDR.com.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
I'll show you politics in America. Here it is right here. I think the puppet on the right shares my beliefs. I think the puppet on the left is more to my liking. Hey, wait a minute. There's one guy holding up both puppets. Shut up. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control. Read my lips.
Just send your cash. There has never been so many lies, so much deception.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Please clap. It's time for the Mike Madison Show, a new breed of conservative talk. Now, here's your host, Mike Madison.
Showtime!
Welcome into the Mike Madison Show. I'm, of course, not Mike Madison. I am Lindsay Beckham. I'm filling in for Mike today, so you get double the dose. I'll be back again at 12 for my regularly scheduled Monday through Friday 12 to 1 show right here on WYAB. We are live here in the WYAB studios, streaming live as well on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Of course, we are always streaming at WYAB.com worldwide. You can catch the audio versions of all of our shows here at WYAB. We got Chip Matthews from 6 to 7. Of course, there's Clay Edwards from 7 to 9. Then Monday at 9, you've got The Full Story with Matthew Bishop. Tuesday, you've got General Bob at 9. And then Wednesday and Thursday, Mike Madison, the one and only libertarian Mike Madison. And then Friday, the blues, the music hour with Chris Davis. Then all Gosser, no breaks from 10 to 12 here at WYAB, followed up by yours truly. We have some national shows in the afternoon. And then, of course, it is Drive Time Hour with the one and only radio strongman, Mr. Kim Wade, from 4 to 6 every afternoon. The one and only, the Godfather. We will all be, I think, at least the majority of us will be over at Beethoven's. I cannot ever say this word right. Every time I look at it, I pronounce it wrong, and I do not know why. There's like a block in my brain when it comes to the word Beethoven. Beethoven's Boardwalk this evening, 6 o'clock. There's kind of an unofficial listener appreciation party where most of the local hosts, at least, will be there. We would love to see you come out, shake your hand, get to put a face to some of these names and tell you how much we appreciate you listening. So that is this evening at 6 o'clock. Again, Beethoven's Boardwalk. That address is, I had it pulled up, I think that's right, 135 Madison Landing Circle over in Ridgeland tonight at 6. Also, wanted to remind you, June the 4th is the Lincoln Reagan Trump. A lot of words there. At least I can pronounce those. Lincoln Reagan Trump dinner. It is a GOP of Mississippi fundraiser. That dinner will be taking place next Thursday evening over in Flowood. And then June the 6th at Mississippi College, Americans for Prosperity is throwing their 250 years of freedom celebration. Senator Jeremy England will be speaking. Bo Adams will, he's a singer-songwriter from the area. He will be there along with Britt Gully and Dr. Stephen, I'm going to butcher this name, Schulte. So come on out, celebrate the fact that we live in a free country. 250th birthday of America, the greatest country there's ever been in all of existence, even though we have some people who don't seem to want to acknowledge that. But we are very blessed to live in the greatest country there has ever been. And we should all be extremely proud and celebrate 250 years of freedom. So come on out and celebrate with Americans for Prosperity on June the 6th. Again, I want to give a big shout out and thanks to Ella Fry, the young woman who was on the show with me yesterday, 16 years old, junior in high school, New Richmond School District over in Wisconsin. She realized that there were biological males using the same bathrooms. She felt uncomfortable. But instead of just going along with what the adults in her school, what the school board had ruled, she spoke up. She spoke out. And because of her using her voice, being brave enough and courageous enough to stand up and speak out, there is now an investigation that has been launched by the Department of Education and the Trump administration into her school district, Title IX violations. Of course, one of the first things that President Trump did after coming back into office was sign an executive order saying that there would not be boys and girls sports or boys and girls bathrooms. Yet there are, of course, some school districts and schools who think they don't have to abide by the rules. But thanks to this brave teenager, there's now a lawsuit and an investigation. And she no longer has to feel uncomfortable or unsafe just for using the bathroom when she's at school. Dan White says that, yes, he's been to Beethoven's. The head chef there is really good friends with myself and M. I'm not sure who M is. You have arrived early to irritate me. I would expect nothing less, Dan. I would expect absolutely nothing less. You can comment on our live stream today. Again, we are streaming live Facebook, YouTube, and X. You can also call into the show, 601-879-0002. You can text into the Lindsay Beckham Show text line. That's 601-879-4648. And if you would like to partner with the Lindsay Beckham Show or with WYAB in general, I would love to talk to you about that. If you want to drum up some business, get the name of your business out there, I'll tell you what, we have some of the most loyal listeners here at WYAB, and they appreciate our sponsors so much, because if it's not for them, then we don't get to sit behind this microphone and say the things that we say. There would be no radio station at all without our great sponsors. So when you hear a business advertising on WIB, please get out and support those businesses. Tell them where you heard about them. Get out and patronize those people who help make this place great. We had Kingfish on earlier this week, Tuesday. I'm all thrown off every time there's a holiday, especially when it happens on Monday, like Memorial Day was this past Monday. My whole entire week is just completely thrown off. And now I'm thinking, how is it already Thursday? But it's because we skipped Monday. But we had Kingfish in here Tuesday, and we kind of recapped the Carly Gregg case. And she was the 14-year-old teenager out of Rankin County who shot and killed her mother. I think she shot her 3 times in the face and the head. Also shot her stepfather. I think the bullet just kind of grazed him, his shoulder, his neck area. But we talked a lot about this case during the trial. I know I did an entire podcast with the prosecutors, Catherine Newman, Michael Smith. I know Bubba Bramlett was here on WIB a couple of times talking about this case because the whole world was watching. It just was so shocking that a 14-year-old child, a baby, I have a 14-year-old, and I cannot imagine her being able to take a gun and do the things that this child did. Of course, I had an even bigger interest in this case because of the attorney, the defense attorney who was representing Carly. I believe she made a whole lot of mistakes. In fact, I don't even know how the woman still has a license, but I digress. Anyway, after Carly was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without parole, she switched legal counsel. Smart move there. They appealed, and those oral arguments were heard in the Mississippi Supreme Court yesterday. I listened to the majority of it. What I took from it is I don't think they'll get a new trial. The judges did not seem, in their comments, they did not seem to believe that the case warrants a new trial, which is sad because I truly believe this little girl did not get the defense that she rightfully deserved, but I don't know what you do about it at this point. It seemed like a lot of what the basis was for this appeal and asking for a new trial were mistakes made on the original defense legal counsel's part. And like Kingfish was telling us, after the time has passed and you don't object, well, then you have to live with it. There were some other things they brought up. The Miller hearing that's supposed to take place prior to sentencing. Of course, again, this defense counsel did not call witnesses. They did not put any family members up there. They did not ask or attempt to reiterate to the jurors that this child is young and the rest of her life is going to be a very long time. I think the plea bargain that they originally offered was around 30 to 40 years. I think Kingfish said 40. I remember seeing 30 somewhere. Maybe 10 were going to be suspended, something like that. But you got to think she's sentenced at 15. So even 30 years, she still has a life that she could live. So I think it's a sad situation when this child more than likely did not get the defense she deserved and now will spend the rest of her life in jail. Don't hire Bridget Todd if you're out there needing an attorney. Well, we're going to take a break. Clay just came in and sat down in the studios. He's going to be with me for a little bit when we get back. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back here on the Mike Madison Show. I'm Lindsay Beckham, 1039 WYAB. We will be right back. WYAB. We will be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 1039 WYAB.
Dr. Mike Stonington here from Stonington Farm Grass-Fed Beef. Here in South Mississippi on Stonington Farm, our steers are grass-fed and grass-finished. No grain, no hormones, no antibiotics, no mRNA vaccines. Our grass-fed and grass-finished beef is straight from our farm to your table. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and at StoningtonFarm.com. That's StoningtonFarm.com with 2 N's. And we deliver every 4 weeks to the Jackson area. We are the grass-fed difference.
Delta Farm Services LLC. Delta Farm Services LLC. From dirt to done, they make it easy. Find them on Facebook. It's all you need. Big job, small job, call today. They'll shape your land a better way. Delta Farm Services LLC, the name you trust for what you need. Delta Farm Services LLC. Delta Farm Services LLC.
At Center for Orthodontics, we believe in family, tradition, and community. From kids to adults, Sandifer offers state-of-the-art orthodontic care with complimentary consultations, so everyone in the family can smile with confidence. Sandifer Orthodontics proudly supports Tri-County Academy and the Building on Tradition campaign, so a short drive to local businesses like Sandifer helps TCA thrive. Begin the journey to a beautiful smile at SandiferOrtho.com. Sandifer Orthodontics, Highland Village, Jackson, and Gateway Drive in Brandon.
Want insider tips on foundation repair, maintenance, and how to protect your biggest investment? Todd Sandridge, owner of Superior Foundation Services, will be dropping in this month for quick interviews with your favorite local hosts. Whether you're dealing with cracks, settling, or just want peace of mind, this is a conversation you don't want to miss. Superior Foundation Services, helping you stay on solid ground. Find them online at superior.ms. That's superior.ms.
Now is the time to turn over a new leaf and shower yourself with savings at Mazda of Jackson. Mazda of Jackson has rates as low as 0.9% on select models, or spring into savings with up to $3,000 in customer cash with approved credit. Get to Mazda Jackson today, where certified pre-owned vehicles and hassle-free trade-in options are also available. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to ring partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community for over 22 years. Contact Pure Air Consultants today at mypureairconsultants.com. Ream and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
Welcome back in to the Mike Madison Show. I'm, of course, not Mike Madison. I'm Lindsay Beckham, filling in for Mike today. We got Clay back in the studio for a minute or so while he has nothing better to do, I guess.
Well, I think I can find things to do, but I figure come chop it up for a minute with you.
You got some extra sleep this morning, so.
I did. That was unexpected, but needed.
I mean, your body has a way of forcing you to rest when it absolutely needs it.
Well, I've just been staying up later and later every night. I've not been managing my time good during the afternoons. And I just feel like I can't start doing show prep till 10 o'clock. And it's like, okay, nothing else is going to happen. I know what I'm going to talk. Now I can find what I'm going to talk about. And for the last month, I don't think I've come in here and talked about a single news story. We've just been ranting and raving about culture issues. But
well, there's a lot of them.
Well, that's just where my heart's at right now. My heart is talking about what's going on in these majority Black communities, where it just seems to be so much crime, so much violence. There's just a dark spirit cast over these communities right now. I mean, I call it culture rot for short, but it's way deeper than that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we do and their absolute denial that there's a problem there, or they just keep telling themselves, oh, the same thing happens everywhere. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
You know, I used to think that too a little bit until I moved somewhere else. And I was like, man, that doesn't happen here. Yeah, sure. Does crime happen statistically? Yes, but not at the industrial levels that it does somewhere like Jackson, New Orleans, Memphis, etc. Well, just avoid the bad part of town. The whole town's bad. That's the problem.
Exactly.
You know, when you have that volume of crime and homicides and violence and whatnot, it happens everywhere. And you can't avoid it. I shouldn't have to avoid the entire capital city to avoid getting carjacked or worse.
Just move to Texas, Clay.
Clearly.
If y'all missed this morning, Clay had a caller who lives in Texas and doesn't live around crime, but he told, what did he tell you? That you're off your rocker?
Yeah, he's an overly educated Black Democrat who doesn't live near Black people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's one of these online liberals that think that they know better for everybody, and that because I'm white and I shouldn't be talking about the Black crime. And he says, Black people just ain't sitting around thinking about y'all like you think they are. Well, my inbox would say different.
Yeah.
My comment section would absolutely say different, you know, and sure, maybe that's online, but the hell in the media, on the nightly news, on everything that they listen to, it would absolutely say different. Anytime you get a white liberal or a Black Democrat on the news, on any of these talk shows, any of that, they're blaming Trump. They're blaming white people for everything that's wrong in the Black community. And I'm just fed up with it. So are a lot of other people. But it's one of the few things I will say that I have absolutely been on the forefront of for years. I was calling them out before it was cool, before it was allowed, when it would still get you canceled, fired, and everything else. And it still will in some places.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I decided to carve my own path and kind of make myself as cancel proof as possible.
Yeah.
For them to cancel me, they're going to have to get me fired by about 25 different people.
Yeah.
But
it's just a fact though, Clay. I mean, my daughter texts me, and my oldest daughter's half Black.
Yeah.
She texted me one day and was telling me about a fight that broke out at school. And I said, let me guess, it was a Black kid. And she said, Mom, you're so racist. I said, no, I'm not. It's factual.
Yeah.
It's the majority of crime or acting out is from the Black community. It's just a fact. It's not our fault that that's the way it is.
Yeah, I go back to, obviously, I don't think there's anything biologically different about any of us, right? I don't think that, people make the joke about the underdeveloped frontal lobes and all that. That's not the case. That is racist to say stuff like that. But there is something in the culture that is creating an impulse control issue where they think that if you try to talk anything out, that's a sign of weakness, that you're being punked out if you try to talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
Where, if you were to be on the losing end of a confrontation, that's worse than going to prison in their minds. They've been just conditioned to think that it's almost cool. It's almost like getting your stripes in the military if you've been to prison at least once. And we've got to get away from that. Culture has got to get away from glorifying this type stuff and to not having the impulse control. I think that's the biggest, if like you can say, Clay, fix one thing, obviously the fathers in homes and all of that stuff, everybody can't control that, but a lot of the women can. Your situation, for example, is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
When I go on my rants about single moms, I try to be clear, and I get tired of having to put the asterisk on it every time. There's different situations that have led people to being single.
Mm-hmm.
or their kid, the fatherless issue in America. Dads die sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens, and men just leave, and the women have no control over that. They were there for years, and men have been turning gay here to High Clip lately. There's a lot of things that happen that are beyond the woman's control. But what's not is random one night things that are in their control, random one night stands, keeping the father away. I mean, it's clearly
playing the system.
Yeah,
continuing to have children in order to collect a paycheck.
Yeah, and that we can stop with. We have to stop rewarding them. The system has to change, and it seems like an easy fix.
Yeah, we got a call. Hey there, you're on the air.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Thank y'all for taking my call. I just want to make a few comments. Now, listen, I don't knock y'all. Look, the way the world is going on, look, the devil, he attacking everybody, whether it's the Black or the white community. But I just want to say something to y'all. Now, I understand, man, you got a Black daughter-in-law. I understand all that. But this is the deal. When y'all talk a lot of times, y'all talk as if y'all are Black. Let me explain something to you what I want you to understand from. When you start talking, listen, you got the United States with a Congress that's majority white, are over here illegally in another country bombing. So when y'all start talking about crime and attitude and all this stuff, it's like a lot of times y'all neglect y'all sides and the things that you do. Like, for instance, if you look at the news, when you look at the news, you see that it's nothing but black people showing that's committing crime, which obviously that's a lie, because according to we're like 12 or 13%. How can 12 or 13% of people in the entire country commit all the crime?
That is exactly what y'all should be asking yourselves. And actually, you're wrong. It's not 30. The black community makes up 13% as a whole. Yes, it's only actually about 3% of the black community committing 50% of the violent crimes in America, which makes it way worse than you're saying. Hey, go look up the stats. It ain't that hard.
See, this the deal, Clay. This the deal, Clay. When you talk, I can understand if you were stupid and ignorant, but you're not stupid and ignorant. Now, how they portray you is something different. I can understand if you were stupid and ignorant, but you're not. And you know the stuff let's get this straight, Clay, as a man, me and you. Take away the black and white stuff. You mean to tell me, Clay, that there's more black kids out here committing crime than white kids?
Absolutely. How can you not see that?
Clay, I mean, it just kills me, Clay, and y'all think y'all smart, and y'all got people actually listening to you. Clay, so Clay, let me ask you a question. So, okay, let's get this straight. So you mean to tell me, Clay, it's 12% of, according to y'all, 12 or 15% in the entire country that's black. You got 300 million people in this country. And you mean to tell me out of the 12%, 3% of the black populations are committing the majority of the crimes in America? You can't be that stupid.
That ain't even common. Out of every 100,000 15 to 24-year-old black men, 207 are murderers per 100,000. 207.
So what's the percentage for white people then? For white men.
I'm glad you asked. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. I keep all of this readily available. I keep all of this readily available so we can have this conversation.
I know that. And listen to me, Clay. Before you begin I want you to talk about murders. I want you to talk about rapes. I want you to talk about abortion. I want you to talk about sexual molestation. I want you to talk about entering other countries illegally. I want you to talk about your priests molesting kids. I want you to talk about all of that now. And you mean to tell me that there's more black men commit more crimes than white men?
Yep. Man, so listen, 8.3 white men, 15 to 24 per 100,000. 207 black men per 100,000 are murderers. Heck, black women are twice as deadly as white men, with 16.9 per 100,000 that are murderers.
And
These are the FBI crime stats.
It's been a fact for a long time that the majority of abortions do occur within the black community.
Black women overwhelmingly led in abortions.
Listen, I'm from Oxford. I know about 1,000 white girls who got pregnant in school and had abortions in the summertime where they wouldn't even report it. That stuff is lies.
How do they not report it? If there was 1,000 white girls, then 10,000 black girls did it.
You can go to private practice and not report it. Man, that's some fake news. Them some fake numbers, with these fake Jewish people that came up with. Man, listen, I'm black.
Man, you have been brainwashed.
Yeah.
You have been brainwashed.
I tuned him out.
I mean, if you're not going to have a conversation, and I do appreciate the call, and I appreciate him not cussing and trying to have a conversation. So I want to be clear about that. I do appreciate it.
Here's the thing.
But you couldn't. That's a new guy. But I appreciate you listening. But you couldn't be more wrong. I mean, just look up the stats. I mean, that's all I'm doing. If the stats said something different, I would look that up.
Well, just turn the news on every night. Just turn the news on and look at the capital city and who's committing the crime. It's not the white people.
Tyler and Braden ain't killing each other at gas stations in Brandon.
You're not afraid to stop at a gas station in Madison or Brandon.
And they're not covering the murder up, I promise. I mean, I have almost broke my fingers pulling over to do a story about white on white crime when it comes across my phone, just so I can get my racial quota in to satisfy people. And I always say I don't do that, but I think I'm as guilty of it as anybody, because I'm like, oh, finally somebody white did something I can talk about and they can get off my back about it.
These videos, the effing white people.
Effing white people, it's not that I run from that. I run towards it. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. The fallout from talking about white people is twice as bad or 10 times worse than the fallout from talking about black people. When I just shared a photo last night of a white kid running around here in a Dodge Charger dressed up like a cop car. And I just simply said, shared a screenshot of the people who saw him do it acting like a cop, running up on people and hitting the lights and stuff. I said, hey, if this car runs up on you, do not pull over. Call the cops.
Trying to use your platform for good, like warn people, let people know. Look.
Yeah, like I didn't say I know who's in that car. I didn't say I know who this kid is. I didn't know if there was a white kid, a black kid, or anything. Did not know. Man, hit that kid's family and all his friends and fake profiles. They came out and started attacking me. He does not do this. Well, come to find out, he does all that and worse based on what some law enforcement reached out and told me. But I just say all that to say, we don't hesitate to talk about anybody, but it is just not there. Yep. And then here's another thing, Lindsay, that grinds my gears. We always talk about, the thing they always try to bring up is, the sexual predators in the white community. We don't hide that. We arrest the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you never see somebody with let's just pick a random white name here, Bob. I don't know. You never see Bob the molester. Nobody's out there saying Bob wouldn't do that. I know Bob. Free Bob. We're like, burn, Bob, burn.
Exactly.
Can I flip the switch? Can I pull the trigger? We don't make excuses for it. There's clearly a problem, but to sit here and say
their mamas aren't on the news saying, oh, my perfect angel child.
He wouldn't do that. But to also say that there's not a problem with that in the black community is being very disingenuous, because we also have to admit the fact that there's a no snitch culture in the black community as well. And it's way, way frowned upon to call the cops for black people to call the cops on black people. And that's just fact. And I believe a lot of it goes underreported by the victims as well. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen in the white community. It clearly does. But to pretend that doesn't happen in the black community is being very disingenuous. And I would just say to this, in the white community, you see it on the news more, you see the convictions more. It's because we take it very, very serious out here, and we are not afraid to prosecute it. We are not afraid to advertise it, because you try to warn people. You want to use every arrest as an example for somebody else that may be thinking about doing it to say, you know what, they don't play about that over. They don't play about that. I better just not do that. That's what you hope.
It's not a catch and release program.
Right. And unfortunately, it just feels like and there's also not a culture of music and movies and all of that cultivating violence in the white community. With hip hop and pop culture and all this, it cultivates.
And the games, the amount of games that are in the capital city.
The games, and look, the games are for everybody, the GTAs and all that. It ain't good for anybody. I'm not anti-game. I'm not anti those games. Play whatever you want. But just remember, it's a game. It is a game. It is not real life. Life should not imitate art. Art should imitate life. And in the urban communities, life is imitating art. And by art, I'm referring to games. I'm referring to music and all of this stuff. I was from an era, Lindsay, where people knew that rap music was a lie. The guys weren't really gangsters. They weren't really drug dealers. It's like wrestling. It's a character. Stone Cold Steve Austin ain't really beating up his boss. But somehow, somewhere, it flipped where if you rapped about it, it had to be real. It had to be your resume. And you've also seen the quality of rap music go to hell in a handbasket. That's why you got all these little tarantula-haired Pookies, Dijon Vontaviouses, Yimbia Young Boys, the king of the YNs out here with this terrible, terrible mumble rap crap, because you got real criminals out here doing it that have it on their resume instead of like really artistic, creative people who are just living vicariously through what they see in the streets, not what they're in the streets doing. And that's when rap music went to hell, in my opinion.
Somebody says way more whites shot by cops than black every year.
It's 100% true. But you don't see us burning down cities crying about it. We're like, yep, you know what Clay Edwards does? I give him an FAFO award.
Right.
And I people get so mad at me because I celebrate the death of idiots. But I celebrate the death of idiots. You know what? It's survival of the sickest, survival of the fittest around here.
Community improvement killings.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just true. If something, why would you not celebrate if something's making your community a little safer?
Well, it's like it's like the John guy, one of the, I call him a recovery cult leader, celebrate recovery cult leader, white guy that I grew up with.
Oh, the one that made the video.
Yeah, got all salty with me and decided instead of calling me after 30 years, after me having him on my show 5 or 6 times, letting him promote his crap.
Now, wanting to get on social media and pray for your soul is just attention seeking. If he cared enough about you, he would have picked up the phone and called you.
And the case he was upset about was a white guy over in South Jackson that got himself killed because at 3 a.m. he shot a guy at a house.
Wait, were you talking about a white guy committing crime?
Well, at 7 a.m., he came back shooting at the door and kicking it in. The homeowner that he shot previously, who's obviously probably not a good person either, because he didn't call the cops after he got shot because he's probably a drug dealer and didn't want the cops there. But he shoots and kills the white guy, and I don't know if he's white, black, or what. But South Jackson, I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and guess he's probably a black guy, but, it doesn't matter. He shoots the white kid, kills him. Well, you know what? That is as textbook FAFO as I can imagine. So who did John get upset with? Me. I was like, well, did you go pray for all the neighbors around there for the hell that they got terrorized with by these idiots? Did the mom that told you she just couldn't believe all the things that she's seen, that the video Clay Edwards made is what's really got sand in her craw? How about she go apologize to the people in that community for being a piece of crap mother who let her son go terrorize the community? Because I dug into it, and they had this was a young guy, and they had a fractured relationship for years, because I'm guessing she was probably in and out of rehab as well. But again,
and honestly, there's more black on black crime than anything else.
It just is.
I mean, it's just a fact.
I mean, you don't think these woke news channels like WLBT around here, who are anti-white, in my opinion, you don't think they would jump at every opportunity to talk about Tyler and Braden killing each other or shooting at each other and Brandon or Pearl? And you are crazy. That would be the lead story.
I mean, the Goon Squad it still is. And there's still people, Miss B today, over there running the Goon Squad, because that's their hill to die on.
Yeah,
we got to hold on to that, because I know you got to
get out of here,
and we got to take a break. Y'all stay with us. I'll be right back here, filling in for Mike Madison on the Mike Madison Show, WYAB 103.9. We will be right back.
Bye, y'all.
.1039 WYAB. Managing payroll, benefits, workers' comp, and HR tasks can take valuable time away from running your business. That's where People Lease comes in. From payroll processing and tax filing to employee benefits and retirement plan administration, People Lease helps simplify your back office operations while improving employee satisfaction. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Schedule your consultation today at peoplelease.com. That's peoplelease.com.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Pentagon accuses Iran of ceasefire violations after Kuwait came under a missile attack. It's the latest flare-up of fighting threatening ongoing ceasefire negotiations. Inflation up in April, personal spending down.
The drop was not dramatic, about 0.1% from month to month. At the same time, personal spending rose by about $114 billion. The major driver of the increase, according to federal data, was the soaring cost of energy, specifically gasoline, which was up nearly 29%.
ABC's Jim Ryan. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a black death row inmate from Mississippi who claims there was racial bias in the makeup of the jury that convicted him for his role in the killing of a grocery store owner. There was only one black juror on the case. Overwhelming favorite Yannick Sinner is out of the French Open in the second round. His 30-match winning streak broken amid searing heat. France, one of several European countries battling an extreme heat wave. This is ABC News.
When it's time to get serious about work-ready equipment, come see me, Noah Sullivan, at H&H Chief Sales in Carthage. From rugged Big Tex trailers to durable CM and Legend X truck beds, H&H has what your truck needs to work harder and last longer. For the field, H&H carries reliable ag equipment from Salford, New Leader, and Chandler. Visit H&H Chief Sales in Carthage today or anytime at hhchiefsales.com. H&H, quality equipment, knowledgeable service, and solutions that work as hard as you do.
Hey, Central Mississippi, it's Big Pop inviting you to Mississippi's biggest and best gun shows. Big Pop gun shows will be at the Clyde Muse Center, June 6th and 7th in Pearl, Mississippi. Saturday hours 9 to 5, Sunday hours 10 to 5. There'll be plenty of buying, selling, trading, gun appraisals. Guns, lots of guns. 250 tables of merchandise to see. The largest vendors around to see. Be sure to register for 2 $20 gift certificates to be given away every hour. Grab your $1 off coupon now. BigPopGunshows.com. Y'all come and let's have a great weekend at the Pearl Gun Show, June 6th and 7th.
Acme Pizza and Daiquiris is leveling up. A whole new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris is now open at the Reservoir at Beethoven's Boardwalk in Ridgeland, right next door to Cock of the Walk. And the new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris will have all of your old favorites too, like the Acme Dynamite Balls and Garlic Knots, and the best specialty pizzas ever, like the Pig, the Sergeant Pepperoni, the Serpent Turf, and lots more. Come to the all-new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris location on the Res in Ridgeland, next door to Cock of the Walk.
Hi, this is Alan Allen, nurse practitioner at the MEA Medical Clinic in Flora, Mississippi. Located in the Cotton Exchange Plaza, we are here to provide patient-centered care that is thorough, compassionate, and convenient. Whether you need primary care services or same-day medical care when you aren't feeling your best, we're here to support your health.
MEA Medical Clinics.
Bank Plus makes it easier to bank. With extended drive-through hours plus 24/7 online and mobile banking, we're here when you need us. Lost your debit card? Get a new one instantly at any Bank Plus location. No waiting for the mail. And interactive teller machines offer drive-up personal service 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturdays. Your bank, your plus. Learn more at bankplus.net. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into the Mike Madison Show. I'm, of course, not Mike Madison. I'm Lindsay Beckham, filling in for Mike Madison, streaming live here in the WYAB studios, also streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and X. I believe we have a caller. Caller, are you there? They may have. I guess they are not. Call back if you are still listening. Would love to hear from you. 601-879-0002. You can also text the Lindsay Beckham Show text line, 601-879-4648. Thanks to Clay for sitting in with us during that segment. He has definitely riled up today. Look, I'll tell you, when you look down at your phone and see that you've got a couple of texts that start with "Tell Clay," ... you think, Lord, what has Clay Edwards done now? But I did. I was getting some texts last night saying, "Tell Clay that," talking about, I guess, whoever this person was, that he was really just posting an awareness, letting people know that this cop car, I guess, that's not actually a cop car, was pulling people over and to be careful. And somehow that even blew up in his face. So, I love that he is unapologetic about what he believes. And sometimes we don't agree. There are a lot of instances where Clay and I do not agree. But I think we still respect each other, and we never let our disagreements over political issues or policy issues or government affairs get in the way of our friendship. And I think that's the problem with a lot of the country. Now, again, if you are a raging liberal or voting Democrat on every issue, it makes it a lot more difficult to overlook some things because of just how radical they've become. Sometimes I believe, in fact, not sometimes, I always believe that it's actually the far left white liberals that are much more radical than black Democrats. Sometimes I almost think that the black Democrats are ashamed of these white liberals who have gotten so far gone. But like Clay said, it just is common sense. When you look at the numbers, when you look at the statistics, when you look at the news, the nightly news, when you open up and read the newspaper, it is very much a fact that the majority of crime, especially here in the central Mississippi area, is committed by the Black people. And I know you say that and people look at you and say, oh, well, you're just racist. You're just racist. But it's true. It's 1,000,000% the truth. I was telling Clay in the break that one of the segments on his show this morning made me think about, and there's this scene, I've talked about it several times, but I know that Matt Walsh showed it in his documentary, Am I a Racist? But there's a group of women, a group of white women, well-to-do women who are sitting at this table, sipping on their wine, talking to each other, and all of a sudden they're crying, apologizing to the Black women in the room because they were born white. And my head is just spinning. And you just wonder, did I just wake up in the twilight zone? Why are we apologizing for the color of our skin? Black people should not have to apologize for the color of their skin. They should not be oppressed because of the color of their skin. White people should not have to apologize for the color of their skin, and they should not become a supremacist of some sort or oppressor just because they're white. At the end of the day, we all bleed red. We're all created and made in the image of God, our Savior, who loves each of us the same. And although I understand our history is full of racism, and it's very important to acknowledge that so that we don't fall back into those same ways and mistakes. I completely understand that. But it doesn't make me as a white woman guilty of being born white and that become a problem. I'm so sick of everything hanging on the race card. And that's why I completely agreed with the Supreme Court's ruling when it comes to the way that we draw our lines and redistrict. Because for so long, there has been significant racial gerrymandering. And in my opinion, that's completely racist. If we are drawing any district in the state to give one color population the upper hand, or looking at the BVAPs and the percentages of how many are this color, I just think that's asinine. I think that's completely and totally racist, and that stops us from being able to continue to make strides as far as the racism conversation is concerned. We all get a vote. We all have the right to go down and register to vote when we turn 18 years old as American citizens, and we all have the right to show up at our precincts and vote every single election day, regardless of what color we are. So it makes no sense to me to draw districts in a way that we make sure there are more of this color in this area. Use population and landmass size, and then let the votes fall where they may. Or you have a super Republican majority, you don't draw districts to get rid of a Black person. You draw districts to get rid of the Democrats, not because they're Black, but because of what they support and the way that they vote when we send them to Congress. Example, Congressional District 2, Benny Thompson. Enough said. We got to take our last break. Y'all stay with us. We will be right back here. 1039 WIAB, the Mike Madison Show, to wrap things up on this Thursday afternoon. Morning. Morning.
1039 WYAB.
Hey, this is John with MES. That's Mississippi Energy Services. We sell, service, and install all makes and models of home and business generators. One thing that we do different than a lot of other companies is we do all the work ourselves. We don't use subcontractors. We go from the original estimate, the design, to the final product. That way we can control the quality of the job from the beginning to the end. We are online at msenergy.us.
Looking for adventure, amazing food, and a little relaxation all in one place? You'll find it at Cypress Point Resort in Brandon. Load up the family and experience a real drive-through safari, petting zoo, and thrilling guided Jeep tours. Then slow it down with mouth-watering steaks at the steakhouse, or grab drinks and live music at the tavern. Planning a wedding or reunion? Cypress Point Resort has beautiful venues and cozy lodging. Ready for your big day or just a weekend escape? It's everything you love about the outdoors with a touch of luxury. Cypress Point Resort. Wild fun right around the corner.
For over 15 years, A1 Gear and Auto has been your hometown specialist for your auto repair and maintenance needs. From brake repair to placement to radiators, engines, starters, alternators, heat, and AC water pumps. And more, A1 will get your vehicle back up and running and on the road and in a timely manner. A1 is one of the only shops in the metro that specializes in rear differentials, rear ends, and rings and pinions. Call today to set up an appointment, or if you got questions, at 601-939-1060. A1 Gear and Auto, your hometown vehicle specialist.
If you've had an accident, remember Clinton Body Shop. We work for you, not your insurance company. Don't be misled by someone telling you that you will have to pay more than your deductible. Our shops hold multiple certifications from the makers of today's vehicles. We are the longest running ICAR Gold Class certified repair facility in Mississippi. We know how to repair your vehicle, and we will work with your insurance company on your behalf. In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Hi, this is Rita Jensen with Remax Connection. I've been selling real estate now for well over 30 years, and I typically use Chadwick Home Inspectors. And Chad has done many, many home inspections for me.
They are pretty much from roof to foundation. Most people are surprised at just how thorough these home inspections can be. Been working with Rita almost a decade now. Very rarely does she let a deal fall apart. She can usually find a way to negotiate where both parties are satisfied.
RitaJensen.net.
Welcome back into the last few minutes of the Mike Madison show this morning. I'm, of course, not Mike Madison, but I've been happy to fill in for Mike yesterday and today. I'm sure he will be back next week with all of his libertarian wisdom. Look, Mike always tells me that he's eventually going to pull me over to the Libertarian Party. We shall see. I don't know that I trust any party of government. Thanks to Clay for coming in for a little bit. And then, of course, remember tonight, come out and meet us all in person. Beethoven's Boardwalk, our very own Chip Matthews restaurant. Of course, he's on 6 to 7, followed by Clay, followed by something a little different every day of the week. Then All Gosser, No Breaks from 10 to 12, followed by the Lindsey Beckham Show, 12 to 1. I will be back here at 12. I saw some breaking news come across my phone a few moments ago where the Supreme Court has ruled to stop I believe a man that's on death row in the state of Mississippi. It looks as though race played a role in this. I'm going to dig into that, and we can talk about that at the 12 o'clock hour. Of course, we have some national shows in the afternoon, and then Kim Wade, 4 to 6, bringing it on home, Radio Strongman. But we will all be out tonight, Beethoven's Boardwalk. We would love to see you in person, get to shake your hand, put faces with the names that we hear and we see, comment all the time. We just appreciate our listeners so very much. We couldn't sit behind this microphone and talk if there was nobody out there listening. So we need the listeners and we appreciate them. And so it's going to be a good time tonight. Again, that starts at 6. Great food, music, and fellowship. Y'all come on out. And again, I will be back here at 12 o'clock for the actual Lindsay Beckham show. I'm going to discuss a little more in detail the Supreme Court oral arguments yesterday concerning the Carly Gregg case, this new Supreme Court ruling that was just handed down. Of course, always protecting children, empowering parents, and standing for truth. I'll see you guys at 12.